look green. There we go. Good morning and welcome to the Indy Boomer Show. I'm Mary Pat McKee and I'm sitting here this morning with Mike Dempsey from Indy Mature Living and Tucker, and we're going to talk about some housing and different things with seniors and boomers. We don't use that word senior too often unless it's involved with boomers, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Want everybody to know that you can go now and pick up the March issue of the Indy Boomer magazine at any Kroger or March store in Marion and the surrounding counties, so please do so. And when you do, if you turn to the housing issues page, you will see Mike has an article, has been writing for us a couple of times about housing and boomers and how boomers can possibly help their parents with that housing.
Right.
So Mike, this is your first time on the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you're an advocate.
Sure. Let me just start from a personal perspective.
Sure.
I'm a proud card-carrying member of the baby boomer generation, married to a wonderful woman. Pam, we have 2 adult sons, fully grown, 3 granddaughters who believe they're fully grown. And Pam and I live with a silky terrier dog named Pistol, who believes that she owns the house and all its contents and is just gracious enough to let us live there. But on a professional level, Mary Pat, I am a certified senior advisor and a seniors real estate specialist with the FC Tucker Company.
Okay.
And in that capacity, me and my team, we help senior homeowners downsize and move into or transition into more manageable and carefree residences or lifestyles, if you will, and that frees them from feeling the need to worry about the hassles associated with making a move and becoming overwhelmed with all of the details associated with the late in life movement. Yeah, and for the baby boomers, we help the children of senior adult homeowners, which is the baby boomer generation.
That's us, yeah.
Kind of manage the move of
Right.
their elderly parents into independent living, assisted living, continuing care retirement communities, whatever the case may be.
So you're very familiar with the gamut of all the
Yeah, absolutely.
different facilities.
Sure, and that's kind of part of what we provide,
Okay.
right? And I suppose we'll probably get into that here in a little while. But for the boomers, I mean, you probably talk to a lot of boomers, as do I, and most of them, their plates are overloaded from a schedule perspective.
They're getting it from all sides.
Absolutely. We're called the sandwich generation for a reason, right?
And sometimes the club sandwich. Did you know that?
That's my favorite kind.
Because there's 4 generations they're dealing with.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah, I
Yeah.
never thought of that, but you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us are taking care of our adult children who've never left or coming back for whatever reason.
Yeah.
In addition to being caregivers for our elderly parents,
Right, exactly.
or trying to maintain a career and maintain a household, and boomers are just overwhelmed in many cases with everything kind of tugging at them. So we help kind of minimize the complexities associated with a late in life move being facilitated by their parents.
Do you find that the boomers are the ones that contact you more so than their parents?
Yeah, absolutely. Much more frequently than the parents themselves, and for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
And you know, being the most elderly, making a transition to a different lifestyle is emotionally traumatic many times.
Well, and a lot of times they've lived in their house for 25, 30, 35 years, and they're emotionally attached.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
My sisters and I experienced that with my mom, who just turned 90 a couple months ago.
Wow.
She lost her husband, who was my dad, of many, many years. They'd accumulated a lifetime of possessions.
Sure.
When he passed away, my mom, we needed to transition her out of that long-time home into something that was much more manageable for her.
Exactly.
And liquidating a lifetime full of possessions is absolutely very emotionally draining for most senior people.
It is for seniors, and I found myself, in watching my parents have to downsize of all the things, like you said, they traveled all over the world, they had lovely things, but then to come down and you have to decide, do I keep this or not? It's very difficult to...
Yeah, and that's one of the mistakes the boomers make. That's my experience anyway, is trying to liquidate their parents' estate and a lifetime full of possessions themselves.
Yeah,
right?
it's hard.
So in addition to everything else that boomers have to do, I mean, there are professionals, obviously, who are very good at downsizing and sorting and packing and helping liquidate that estate and a lifetime full of possessions. And we have team members that can help a family kind
have
of go through
resources
that.
for
I have
folks.
resources that we
Yeah.
can make available that will help them through that process.
Okay. Are you finding, we're talking a lot about boomers' parents, but, do you find a lot of baby boomers are going from that two-story house into a ranch? I mean, are you seeing that
Sure.
transition as well?
Absolutely, and that's becoming more and more frequent all the time
Okay.
for a lot of different reasons. I mean, most of them are moving in anticipation of maybe some health issues that might be down the road.
Right.
Maybe they're moving because they want a different lifestyle altogether and their
Mm-hmm.
family's gone. And I had a couple clients actually who put it very well. They said, we feel like two BBs in a boxcar. They lived in this, this
rolling around
big home,
everywhere.
like 4,400 square feet.
Oh,
All
wow.
the kids were gone. And they lived in like 3 or 4 rooms.
Yeah.
And the rest of the house was empty, and they felt like two BBs in a boxcar.
Yeah, that's
and
funny.
there's no reason to have that big a home and trying to maintain it and
Yeah,
the
you gotta
finances
clean
associated
it.
with all of that
That's
and
part of
cleaning it. And, it's pretty attractive
Yeah.
to make the transition into a more manageable and carefree lifestyle for many of the baby boomers.
Okay.
They're just at a point in their life where it makes sense to do that.
Okay. Well, and I totally understand when the kids are grown, why do you need all that space?
Sure.
The other question I wanted to ask you, I have several questions, but
Yep.
another one I wanted to ask you
Mm-hmm.
is when you say you are certified, tell us, did you go to school? I mean, what does that
sure,
mean?
yeah.
What does
so
that mean?
a certified senior advisor.
Yeah.
That is a designation that is given to people who practice professional occupations for the most part. So
Okay.
it's a pretty intensive course of study and testing on aging and aging issues. So you have to be pretty fluent in social issues and family issues and medical issues and financial issues and housing issues for the most senior of our population to get the designation. So many lawyers have a certified senior advisor designation.
Oh, so it's the same thing that they would have.
Oh, sure, right.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
exactly.
know if it
So
was
CPAs
something-
can have it,
Sure.
clergy has it, medical professionals have the designation. There aren't many realtors that actually have the designation. I just happen to be one of them, just because I just have a heart for that demographic of our society, and kind of went through the course of study and the testing in order to get it.
So is it like something IUPUI puts on, or how
Well, no,
does it
it's
work?
actually a certified professionals of senior advisors. I forget the exact.
Okay, sure. I get the idea.
that
I
put it on,
I
but-
didn't realize it was that intensive a
Yeah,
study.
it's pretty intensive. They're pretty rigorous course of study, and again, a professional examination has to be administered, and you have to pass it.
Okay,
So-
and it's basically teaching you how to handle, to deal with some of the issues that maybe seniors are confronted with.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's-
So,
that's
yeah,
what-
in addition to be a seniors real estate specialist, where,
Uh-huh.
and that's a designation given just to realtors who have additional education in
Okay.
a late in life real estate transaction. But
Okay.
the certified senior advisor designation is well above and beyond dealing with housing issues. Many issues are covered in that course
Okay.
of study.
Well, it seems to me that if your parents are wanting to move from their home into whatever you said, at whatever type of facility
Mm-hmm.
it might be, they really should be talking to someone like yourself that's got that senior certification.
Yeah, and they need to be talking with a professional, I think,
Yes.
who might have that designation.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of different reasons. A late in life transaction, I mean, there are lots of moving parts, and odds are that there are lots of professionals that are involved. Could be,
Right.
an elder law attorney,
law,
estate
yeah, that's what
attorneys,
first one comes to
financial
mind.
planners who
Yeah.
are, kind of centric in the senior market.
Sure.
Downsizers, movers, estate liquidators, lots of moving parts,
Yeah.
right? So you need people need to work with a professional who is fully aware of all the options and the services that are available in our community. We have relationships with all of those professionals, fully vetted. I interview them myself
Right.
to make sure that we're thinking alike and we have the same goals in mind. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a short break,
Sure.
but Indie Boomer, that's one of our big things that we advocate is get a professional
Great.
in the different arenas that we have to navigate through.
Good.
We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Thanks.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
It ain't. You're up.
Alrighty then. Welcome back to the Indy Boomer Show. I'm Mary Pat McKee. I am sitting here this morning with Mike Dempsey from Indy Mature Living and Tucker. Talk to Tucker. They've been around forever.
Forever, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Number one independent real estate company in the state.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah,
that.
they are, yeah.
But I just remember because I can remember doing business with Tucker many times. Hey, before we get started, I want to remind everybody the March issue of Indy Boomer is out. It is on the streets and it is available to be picked up at any Kroger or Marsh store in Marion and the surrounding counties. So hope you can do that. We have got some of the Pacer icons on there. You will see I'm very nice gentlemen. What a family of guys. Bob Nedelecki, Slick Leonard, Darnell Hillman, and George McGinnis. Just guys that have played together, stayed together, and it's a good
A lot
story.
of history there.
Oh my
as far as
goodness,
the
a lot of
Pacers are
history.
concerned.
You know, if it wasn't for the Pacers, Indianapolis would not be the city that it is today.
No, I'm sure you're right.
I mean, when we interviewed Slick for the Boomer TV, and he was talking about, Indianapolis was pretty run down back then.
It was. I remember those days.
Yeah, I bet you do. And remember, these guys were everybody knew who George McGinnis was,
Absolutely.
and Darnell Hillman, Mel Daniels, all those guys.
Yeah.
And they really made a big splash
Yes.
in Indianapolis. So anyway, I want to get back because I got too many more questions.
All right,
Many more. I
let's
have
do it.
several more questions to ask you. And one of is, okay, you are a certified senior specialist in the real estate industry.
Right.
So if baby boomers, I think really not just baby boomers for their parents, but also for themselves.
Absolutely.
This is the gentleman you need to be speaking with. Mike, why are you so passionate about baby boomers?
Well, it's a combination of things, Mary Pat, honestly. First of all, it's an exploding demographic.
Yep.
Not just in Indianapolis, but around the country and around the world.
Right.
You know the statistics as well as I do, I'm sure. There's 78 million baby boomers.
There's a bunch,
right?
yep.
10,000 every day are celebrating their 60th birthday for the next
65th.
15, whatever. Yeah, 15,
60th.
18 years,
Yeah.
whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
We're turning 70 this year. Hard to
Yes,
believe the baby
yes.
boomers are. But even more interesting, the 90-plus segment of our demographic has tripled over the course of the last
I mean,
few
people
years.
being 90
90
yeah.
and over, right?
Yeah,
And is
exactly.
expected to quadruple again in the coming years. So we're living a lot longer, which is great, but it's also a double-edged sword.
Yes.
Because I'm not sure that the social infrastructure
Is
is
there.
in place,
Yeah,
right,
I
to
agree.
kind of address the need that's going to be generated with the older population. In Indianapolis alone, I think 13% of the Indianapolis area population right now is 65 and over.
Now, see, I did not know that.
Yeah, the number is
Okay.
expected to increase to 20% in the coming year. So statistically, you are one of every 5 people that you're going to meet in the Indianapolis area will be 65 or over. Right?
Yeah.
We sold in the Indianapolis area 30-some thousand homes last year.
Wow.
25% of those homes was sold by somebody over 65.
Really?
7 to 10%, I forget the exact number, was sold by somebody over 75.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's a
So
big
they're still
number.
buying homes.
Absolutely, they're buying and selling homes. But the important thing to remember is that a late in life transaction isn't as simple necessarily as a millennial buying or selling a home.
Right.
I mean, as an advocate, we need to be aware of other issues that are associated with a late in life transaction.
Right.
There might be physical issues, there could be cognitive issues, a lot of different things may be taking place in that late in life transaction. But it's just due to the fact that I want to be part of the solution rather than the problem with the exploding older demographic of our society.
Right.
I think that we need services in place that are going to help address the needs that are going to be generated with an older population.
Well, and our generation is so different from our parents. Our parents'
absolutely.
generations had pensions.
Absolutely.
I heard that went from 70% to 17%.
Yeah, I'm sure
baby
that's
boomers
right.
will not have pensions like their parents did.
I'm
so
sure you're
that's going to
absolutely
make
right.
an impact on the economical effect of how they housing.
Yeah, I mean, just the baby boomers turning 70 this year, a lot of them are electing to retire voluntarily, which is great. There are many who are forced into retirement who
I was
aren't
just
prepared to
gonna say,
retire.
yeah.
There are others who will never be able to retire just due to the economics and due to their particular set of circumstances,
Well-
which is most unfortunate.
There's also true. There's a lot of them that don't ever want to retire.
That's true. I'm one of those. I don't
Yep,
ever have.
I
I don't
know.
ever have any intention of retiring. I
Yeah.
like to stay engaged and.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And relevant.
Yeah,
Relevant.
absolutely.
Go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just going to say that serving the more mature market, as I call it, Mary Pat, it requires a different skill set.
Yes.
And it requires a different focus than a lot of other agents have, in my opinion, a different level of expertise. And not only that, but if you really want to properly serve the market, you need to be aware of all the options, all the services that are out there available to
And there's-
baby boomers and their parents. And there's lots of them out
Yes,
there that
there
most
is.
people aren't aware of.
Yeah. And what do you find are some of the biggest mistakes that baby boomers make?
Well, first and foremost is waiting for a crisis to occur before you have a discussion.
behind
with
the
your
black
parent.
ball, the
right?
eight ball,
Exactly,
yeah.
about housing or care options.
Yeah.
The lack of preparation and denial really are recipes for absolute disaster when
Yep.
it comes to caring for
I agree.
an older parent. You need to have those discussions while the
Have the
parent is-
conversation.
absolutely. While they are engaged and empowered, aware of all the options that are available to them, instead of waiting for disaster to strike, waiting for the crisis to make the decision for you.
Yeah.
If you wait, it will. It's just a matter of time. And
Yeah.
if you wait, your options are much more limited.
Right.
And more often than not, the outcome is less than optimal. Potential for family crisis, financial impacts, an unhappy older person.
Well, and I think it's important that to, like you said, have the conversation so they can make decisions while they're still of
Absolutely,
mind,
right.
instead of ending up, you don't always think you think you know what your parents want, but you may not.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you say that, because studies show that we believe that we are fully aware of what our parents want, the lifestyle that they want to pursue,
Right.
without having had the conversation with them. But studies show that we really
It's
don't
not,
know,
yeah.
how they want
Yeah.
the lifestyle that they would elect to have.
Well, it goes back to the possessions we talked about in the first segment. Something that maybe they got on a special trip, but it's just a trinket, like let's say it's just
Sure.
a pen or something.
Yeah.
Means nothing to you or me.
Right.
But man, this could have been the pen that Mario Andretti used to sign and gave it to him. I mean, who knows? You
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
So things that can be really important to them that we may not know, and discarding things, that becomes very difficult.
Right, and it's a process that you have to work through,
Yes.
and you can't do it blindly.
Yes.
Right, so you need to have somebody who's absolutely engaged and able to participate in the process,
Right.
and make plans accordingly.
Okay.
Right.
Tell us what else do baby boomers should look out for, or
Sure, lots of baby boomer parents want to age in place, and
Yes.
I mean, oftentimes that's very appropriate.
Yes.
But you need to make sure that the home is properly accommodated and accessorized, right, to accommodate a safe
Right.
and successful aging in place.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, even though the vast majority of seniors want to age in place, many can't due to
It's
health
safety.
reasons
Safety's the
or
biggest one, I think.
financial reasons or
No,
whatever.
that's true, too.
And part of
Yeah.
our teammates or our team members, we have certified aging in place specialists that can come in and make an assessment.
Oh,
and-
of the
and-
home?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure, and
that's great.
advise
That's-
what needs
that's
to
very
take
good
place
to
in
know.
order to
Yeah.
do that
Okay.
safely. So that's another mistake. Another mistake that baby boomers make, I think, is just not being fully versed in all of the senior living options that are available out there. I just
There's
toured a new one yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a wellness center, so you can rehab there in addition to independent living and
is
assisted
that?
living.
Where's that?
It's called The Lofts, over off of Georgetown
I've not heard
and
of that.
56th Street. It's
Okay.
beautiful. It's like a resort community. I asked them when I could move in. I mean,
Is that
they're
great,
staffed completely and a beautiful living arrangements, and they're just very accommodating.
Wow.
It's just a great lifestyle.
You know, that's interesting. I just heard of another one today too. That's totally different concept than some of the other facilities.
Yeah.
There's so many options.
There are so many of independent living, assisted living, continuing care retirement communities, memory units. there are
Independent living,
all kinds.
assisted living. People are confused. What the heck is the difference? I've
Right.
learned. I'm sure you know as
Yeah.
well. But that's almost another show in itself.
That's
so
exactly right.
anyway, I'm sorry, Mike. Time flies around here.
Yes, it does.
So we're going to have to wrap up another one. But before we do, one more time, I just want to remind everybody: pick up your copy of Indy Boomer magazine at any Kroger or Marsh store in Marion and the surrounding counties, and also be sure and watch our show on Sunday, Boomer TV at 10:30 on Channel 8 on Wish with Patty Spittler. We've got a special show this week with Angelo Pizzo from Hoosiers and Bobby Plump and just all
Great.
kinds of basketball things. It is March Madness, isn't
Yes,
it?
it
So
is.
trying to be in line with that. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you all on next time. Thanks.